All right, here we are. Another episode of the Taco Podcast. Um, we are at 316 subscribers. I think we have just a little over 2,000 watch hours now total for the 80 plus episodes that we've done. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad that we're at this level. Definitely think that we should have a whole lot more subscribers than we do, but no, we'll roll with it.
I think in order to do that, we have to do riveting challenges.
Riveting challenges, give away millions of dollars or something like that. Last person standing in a stupid circle or whatever Mr. Beast does.
Yeah.
I mean, people like that. Or, hear me out here, we think of some kind of drama to add to it.
We get into a fight with another YouTube couple.
Yeah. Are there any others out there?
Probably.
Well, we got to find someone to fight with. Yeah, that'll build that suspense, the drama. She said this, he said that.
Ooh, and then when we talk about that drama, we need to leave out all of the surrounding context so people who don't follow it are completely confused when they see it.
Right, but they automatically pick a side.
Yeah.
So, all right. Welcome to another episode of the Taco Podcast. I'm Will.
I'm Crystal.
And you are our viewers. And thank you for being here today and checking out this episode. So today, kind of off the cuff, we have decided that we're going to do, 10 things or whatever about each of us that you may not know about. In case, a little background on both of us. We have 2 children. We have a beautiful daughter who is a beautiful young woman, and she's 24.
She's 22. Oh my God.
No, she's not.
I'm telling you.
She's had a birthday in April. She's 23.
She's 22. She just turned 22.
23.
And I'm telling her that you thought she was
24.
Oh, well.
Go right ahead. And we also have a son who is 5. He is the big 5 now, ladies and gentlemen. And this past week, something you may not be aware of that we don't put a lot of out there about our families, but our little man started kindergarten this past week. How did that work for you? Just quickly before we jump into it, how did you feel about that?
Oh, it was sad.
Well,
he's growing up and he's going to big kids school now, and he was there all day, and I wanted to be there to kiss all the owies. And he was sad. He said no bye-bye.
No.
Oh.
I was okay with him going to school. I mean, it's one of those things, as they get older, they do these things. I may feel a little bit differently, when he asks for the car keys and my credit card someday. That's going to happen. He's going to ask for some money.
It's going to happen. It already happens. He tries to download games and comes get me. Goes, Mama fix?
Yeah, Mama fix. Yeah, Mama fix this. Buy me my game.
What is it you need fixed? And it's asking for a credit card number. I'm like, yeah, no.
All right. So, what is something interesting about yourself from your past, about you, who you are, that the viewers out there may not know?
From my past?
Well, obviously it can't be from the future unless you have a time machine.
Well, I mean, could it be something ongoing?
Sure.
Like, I'm a member of the Xerces Society for the Conservation of Invertebrates.
That's the first thing you went for, huh? You're a member of a group for the conservation of invertebrates.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that invertebrates are integral to our planet. To every species depends on invertebrates for something. Either acting as pollinators, making food for us, making food for other creatures, birds and whatnot. Like, invertebrates are, I wouldn't say maybe the bedrock of our ecosystems, but they're pretty close. Invertebrates are really important.
Okay. Number 2.
I'm a member of Bat Conservation International.
Are we just going to go through all your Facebook pages?
Actually, those two aren't. I mean, they have Facebook pages, but those two aren't Facebook groups. Those are international coalitions for conservation.
Okay.
Bats are also very important to the world. They eat insects. Another thing, insects are important.
Do they eat invertebrates?
They eat invertebrates. Yes.
So you're feeding both ends.
That's right. Their poop, excellent fertilizer.
All right. So you're a member of two groups. Can we think of something that's not group related?
Oh, you know, it's weird when I'm asked to talk about myself. How about you go next, and I'll think of something.
Okay. Let's see here. When I was younger, something that a lot of people may not know, I grew up on a farm in Wisconsin, and well, it wasn't easy. My job was to make sure every morning that the feed got out to the chickens. It snowed like there was no end tomorrow. It always seemed like it was cold to me. But you know, you get used to it. You're just living life. You know, it's not as cold as it was yesterday. It's pretty much how you think of things. But I lived on a farm. My earlier years of my life.
Well, I didn't live on a farm, but I spent a significant portion of my formative years on my grandparents' farm. Spent a lot of
I thought you were going to say you drove by one.
I drove by, hi farm. No, I spent a lot of time on my grandparents' farm when I was growing up. Most of my summers, most of my breaks. Actually, we lived there for a little while. Yeah, a fair amount of my formative years were spent on my grandparents' farm, and yeah, we So one time we decided, I may have told this story beforehand, but my cousins and I decided that it wasn't that chickens couldn't fly, as that they just didn't know how to fly because nobody had shown them how to fly. So my grandparents were out. They had driven into town to get some stuff one day. And my cousins and I spent a fun-filled afternoon terrorizing all of my grandmother's chickens by trying to teach them to fly, which consisted...
Was there a cliff involved in this?
No, but we were running down the barnyard with the chickens held in our hands above our heads, and then we just, like, huck them as far as we could.
You did that?
Yeah, we were trying to teach the chickens
How old were
to
you,
fly.
20, 25?
No, I think we were like 8.
8.
Yeah, we were like 8.
Did the chickens learn how to fly?
No. We did learn that they had limited flight capabilities. They did not learn how to fly, and my grandparents were very unhappy when they came home to find us hurling their chickens around.
I wonder why. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. But on the farm that we lived on, we had chickens, we had cows, we had horses, and that was about it for livestock. We had a lot of cats and dogs, but my job was to feed the chickens in the morning. And you have to feed them all the time. Those damn things keep on eating. And I had to collect up the eggs and everything else. That was my job in the morning. So, all right. Can you think of anything else than a number 4 on the list of 3? Because you stopped at number 2.
No.
All right, whatever. Just pick another one. Just pick some.
No.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Again, you're asking me to talk about stuff.
All right.
I run a young writing contest when I was in grade school.
What was it about?
I wrote an episode of Doctor Who.
You wrote an episode of Doctor Who and you won a writing contest.
Yeah. When I was in 4th grade, I believe. I believe it was 4th grade, maybe it was 3rd grade. Yeah, I was in grade school. They had a young writers contest. I wrote an episode of Doctor Who, complete with illustrations of K9 because K9 kicks ass and K9 is the best.
Okay. Something the viewers may not know about me. I owned a bookstore for quite a few years. I was very successful at it, and I really enjoyed it because of two things. I went into with the idea of if I wasn't going to be successful at it, I would always have something to read, and that is just a couple of book files like us, you know, we, I mean, if you can fill your house full of books and still make a living at it, why not? We love books, so that's something viewers may not know about me.
That's
Now,
true.
let's see here. Have you always lived in this area, or have you traveled the world? Are you a
No,
world traveler?
I am not.
Answer that
I've
question.
been to Canada once.
You've been to Canada once.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
And
it's,
was it on purpose?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that where you got me kicked out of Canada?
He got himself kicked out of Canada.
Nope, you did. I have contraband.
That is not what I said. I had clove cigarettes and I knew that there was some.
We're
stuff
going
you
through
could
custom.
do.
I'll tell a story because my version's a lot better. We're
It-
going through. We're
His
going.
version is highly exaggerated. His
No, it's
version
not.
of the story.
All right, so let me tell you, and then I'll tell the story, and then you tell me where the exaggeration is. So we went camping in the Hoh rainforest, right? Am I correct so far?
Yeah.
Good. And that's most likely where our daughter was conceived.
People didn't need to know that. Why did you-
Well, there's something you can share. There's something you didn't know about Crystal. But anyways, so we decided to take a ferry from. It's one of those like touristy ferries. It's not like really meant for a whole lot of traveling. For commerce and stuff like that. It's more taking tourists from one spot to another spot so they can be tourists there instead, right? So we got on the ferry, got the car. We're with her mom and her stepfather at the time. We get on the ferry, the vehicle and stuff like that. And we go over to Canada, and we have to go through customs. And as we're going through customs, Crystal says to the customs officer, after reading the sign, you can only have so many cigarettes for your own individual use. What they're trying to stop people is going into Canada and selling cigarettes, at a ridiculously low price compared to what they charge there. She says to the customs officer, "I think I have contraband," because
I did not use those words. I said I have clove cigarettes on me. I don't know if I can bring them or not. And I pulled the package out and showed them to them.
So they stopped me and her stepfather, and politely asked us to get back on the ferry and get the hell out of Canada.
No. They just asked you to get back on the ferry.
No, they asked Don because your stepfather was being a dick about having his gun on it.
Well, no.
It was in the truck.
He left the gun in the truck, but he had a concealed carry permit.
Yeah,
and
we fit the profile. That and you and your contraband. So you could have been a drug mule, but that's when she got us kicked out of Canada. That was a nice, quiet ferry ride back to the United States. But anyways, something else about you. We still need to come up with at least 3 or 4 things on you.
I've been to Niagara Falls.
Ooh, have you?
Yeah, that was very nice.
Have you done a lot of traveling?
No,
I know.
I've been to Canada.
Yeah, I've been to Canada. I've been to Niagara Falls. Did you go to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls?
No.
You should have went over to the Canadian side. They have actual restaurants that are open on the Canadian side.
There were restaurants that were open, but they were all Indian restaurants.
Yeah. So
it was either burgers, hot dogs, or Indian food. It took us a long time to find something that wasn't Indian food. In fact, there were so many Indian restaurants. There was one block we found that literally had 3 Indian restaurants in a row.
how many states would you say you've been to?
Counting ones I landed in as my plane was going someplace
Sure.
else.
Yeah, if you have to count that.
Oh, great. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. I've been to every one.
Even Alaska?
Even Alaska.
Even Hawaii?
And Hawaii, yes, when I was in the service. And there's something new that you may not know about me, is I was in the United States Marine Corps. I honorably served my country, and that's about it. What else is there to really say about it? There's a lot more to it, but the more I talk about being in the service, I, for some reason, my mind flips back to when I was in the service. So I start talking like a drunken sailor, and there's a lot of swear words that come out. So we're going to try to keep this as kid and family friendly as possible. But yeah, me and coincidentally, her friend Jason, we were in the service together. She grew up with Jason. I didn't know Jason when younger, but
Yeah, that was interesting finding out that my friend Jason had served with Bill.
yeah, like we were almost in the same platoon unit, but he was in the next unit after me. But we got there at the same day, same time, everything else, and it's just like, hey, you didn't expect to see you here. But that was a different time. All right, so now let's see. Since you can't think of anything, I'm just trying to brainstorm. Things that
I
what
don't know. I just
you so when I first met you, you were working in a 7-Eleven convenience store gas station, and you were doing not a whole lot with your life at that point. And you were drawing comics on the scrap pieces of paper from cartons of cigarettes. Elf, right? Yeah. But there shortly thereafter, you went from that to working in the medical field.
Mhm.
How did you go from 7-Eleven store clerk to the medical field?
luck.
Luck. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
No,
Wow. Luck. Okay, so yeah, there was some circumstances, luck, I guess you could say, but you didn't get into the medical field. They didn't just give you a job for the last 28 years or whatever.
No, I worked my way slowly through educational certification programs that were available. And I started out as a lab. Well, I started out as a receptionist, and then I became a lab assistant, and then I became a phlebotomist for a different for a different company.
Feels like a different country, so far away.
And then I moved to the hospital. I actually bullied the hospital into giving me a job. Um, at the time, the staff that staffed the hospital were employees of the company that I worked for.
Right.
And they were short-staffed on the weekends. And so I was going in on the weekends to work to cover, to cover the shifts and pick up the overtime. And I basically just showed up and applied for every opening that they had. And every day I'd be like, hey, Larry, about that job. Sup? And literally the phlebotomy supervisor went to the laboratory manager one day and was like, could you just hire her so she'll stop?
Well, it worked. It worked. And then you went from phlebotomist
to clinical assistant.
Yeah.
And then to lead clinical assistant. Well, the clinical assistant jobs changed a lot. So it started out as like a specimen processing job, and then it moved on to a testing. So we had to get certified to do testing and whatnot. So we did moderate and wave complexity testing. And then they got rid of those positions, and then we went to just straight specimen processing and specimen shipping. So, I was sending body parts across the United States and sometimes internationally. And fluids.
Okay.
Parts and fluids.
All right.
In accordance with all national and international laws. So, yes. And then apparently after I left that position, they went back to doing some testing. I'm not 100% on that, but I still keep in contact with the gals that I used to work with. Yeah, we have a group chat. We send each other memes.
And then after that, you went on to
being a supervisor of an accessioning department for a local pathology group.
All right. It's a long ways from 7-Eleven, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It is an awfully long ways. You went from no high school diploma, working in a 7-Eleven, to where you are now and all of this. Yay!
I guess I'm just more. It's weird. I'm much more mellow about that than you are.
About what?
About
All
my
this
career
stuff.
progression. Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Well, thanks, babe.
That you've gone from where you didn't really see, the need for a degree or a higher education. You went from that to where you are now, and in life, and how you've progressed as not only as a woman, as a mother, as a wife. You've gone leaps and bounds from where you were down over here when I first met you.
Oh,
And by the way, if she ever buys another Volkswagen and has multiple colors, I'll be doing 25 to life. Because that's how I first met her.
it was a good solid
I was
car.
home. I had just gotten
It
out
was
of
a
the
solid
service.
car.
I just got out of the service. I came home and my friends were like, "Oh, we're going to go out for drinks," and they take me to a bowling alley, of all places.
No, we
And
did not. We took you to a Denny's.
no, you didn't. You took me to the Go Bowl.
No, we took you to a
Nope.
Denny's. Yep.
Call your friend up. You took me to a Go Bowl, and then we went to the lounge there because your friend was working as the bartender.
No, we were at the Denny's.
All right, whatever. I'm always wrong. I'm used to it. But anyways, that car, she shows up in this car, and I'm like, this is a death trap. I don't want to get in this car.
It's a solid car.
It's still for sale. He still has it. The tires are all flat, but it's still over there.
It's a pretty solid car. Volkswagens are good, solid cars.
Yeah, it was a Super Beetle, 70 something. But all right, so let's see, something else about me that people may not know. See, I grew up on a farm. I have. Well, that's not really about me. That's about my family. Let's see. I started YouTube and the entire journey of. So, in case you're not familiar, I have a true crime channel that is my main focus on YouTube, and I started that after trying to research a case and about somebody that we know personally who killed a friend of ours. And when I went onto online, not on necessarily YouTube, but when I tried to find the information up for me and John, because A-hole was coming up for parole, and we wanted to go to the parole hearing and make sure that A-hole number one didn't get out. But everything I found online was either a complete lie, it was only half of the story, or they put like maybe about a sentence or two about the actual events, and it was just why? Where is the actual facts of this? And I remember the day I came to you, we had not this house, but a little tiny house that we used to live in. I remember coming up, to her and telling her one day, "I'm going to be a YouTuber." You should have seen the look, not only on her face, but on everybody's faces when I told them that I was going to do YouTube. I was going to start a YouTube channel. They're all like, "Why? You don't know anything about computers. You don't know anything about cameras. You don't know."
Zero.
Zero is the correct answer. Yes, like she just said, zero. I still don't. I'm completely lost on all this technology. I am an analog man living in a digital world.
Isn't that a song?
I don't know if it is. I have hundreds of record albums in the house. That's my preferred method of listening to music. It's nostalgic for me. You're what, more cassette. When you were younger, it was cassettes and then CDs and then MP3s, right?
Cassettes. Yeah.
I was 8 tracks, records, cassettes.
Jesus Christ, you're not that old.
What do you think the 8
8
tracks?
tracks.
We had 8 tracks in our cars.
I know. My aunt had an 8-track player.
I still have them over there on the shelf.
You have to go.
There are a couple of years of difference between the two of us.
You gotta go.
I purposely picked a younger wife so she could take care of me in my ill, fate in an old age. That's why my knee here is all wrapped up because I'm slowly breaking down. I'm
It's
turning
not
into
slow.
dust.
It's not slow.
What?
I said it's not slow.
Not slow. No, my warranty expired. That's how you put it.
That's what I told the doctor when I went to go see him last week. He asked if there's anything else wrong, and I was telling him about the weird back thing that I've been having going on. And he said, "Is there anything else?" And I was like, "What isn't going on? I hit 45, my warranty expired, and all my shit's broken."
Yeah. All right. So we need to think of something else about you. Do you have any siblings?
No, I have some step siblings though.
Did you grow up with them?
No.
No. Okay. So you didn't have any brothers or sisters growing up at all.
I have a friend of mine who's fairly close. That spent a lot of time at my house. My mom considers him a son. Paid for his college, not going to college, but like his entrance and like the fees and all that and whatnot. And I've got some step siblings, but I don't have any. And I wasn't raised with any siblings.
I have 7. There was once 7 of us. Not anymore. Unfortunately, as the years have gone on, we start to break down, and well, we've some of us are no longer here. So, let's see, something else about you. People might find.
We recently discovered I have sleep apnea.
Yes, this is true. You could have just rolled over and asked me, and I would have told you.
No, you told me I snore.
I said you snore, you grind your teeth, and if you don't have sleep apnea, I would be surprised.
Yeah, I had to do a sleep study. It was not fun. They said, I mean, it was pretty easy to do, but it's hard to sleep someplace that's not your own bed, and especially when you know that somebody is watching you while you're doing it. It's like, am I gonna do?
You think that there's somebody's watching it? Maybe they just like turned off the lights and went home.
Oh my goodness!
And then came back before you woke up.
No, they talk to you occasionally too, because they're like, they want to. They want to get measurements. So I was connected to like 30-something electrodes. Like on my legs, abdomen, head, chest, arms. Like there's all these electrodes they have attached to me, and then they've got this thing up my nose to measure my whatever, and I've got an O2 sat monitor on me. So I've got all these wires on me, right? And they want to get measurements from you while you're in different positions. So they're like, can you turn on your back? Okay, breathe it. So you got to do all this stuff. So yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Where can I sign up for this?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they did everything they could to make it comfortable, but how comfortable can you be? And it was weird because it's like, am I gonna do something super embarrassing in my sleep, like fart or something like that? Like
probably.
Yeah, I mean, people pass gas in their sleep. It's just a thing that happens. But you're like, somebody's watching me. Like that's weird. I don't want to do that.
How long have you been married now?
20.
Better guess more than the daughter's age.
5 years.
Longer than her daughter's been alive. Because I think she's 24, and you say she's not.
No, she's 22, honey.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is.
No.
She's 22.
No. What year was she born?
She was born in 98, huh?
All right, now do the math. This is 2021.
Uh-huh.
You can't do that simple math in your head? 1998. You have to add 2 to make 2000. And it's 2021.
Okay, so she's 23.
Yeah, I knew it.
Whatever, you were wrong too.
I always think that she's a year older than she is, but you're like you're going backwards. I'm like 22. I'm like, oh heck no, I know that's not right. So if that's right, if she's 23, then we've been together for 26 years.
25 years.
No.
Yes.
Because we lived at that house. We're not going to say the name of it. We lived there with our original roommate, okay, and it was just the 3 of us 4 of us, technically, if you count
Welcome to
count the
today's
girlfriend.
riveting episode of
Right?
the Taco Podcast,
Well, I mean,
where
you know,
Will
people
and
want
Crystal can't remember how they got together.
old age, and it has really been awful to us. But our original roommate, we lived there with her and her girlfriend, you know, pretty much. So that was the first year that we were there. Then the second year is when my other sister moved in and she moved out. So that was the second year. And then the third year is when the place got sold and we helped our neighbor next door move out. So we were there for 3 years. Because we moved from there to the house we got screwed out of. We bought a house. Well, we started to buy a house. And we lost a lot of money on it. Because when we were there, the person who sold it knew that they were in foreclosure, but didn't express that to anybody, to our, no one at all. So we lost a lot of money in that house, a lot. I mean, well over $10,000.
Yeah.
And he knew that, and then they had the balls to come back at us later on after the place was seized, by our daughter's birthday party, wasn't it? When they came knocking on the door and told us that the place had been foreclosed on.
Yeah, it was our daughter's birthday party.
We were making payments and they weren't getting registered. We learned the hard way. Never ever buy a home without a broker. That is the one thing I learned from that moment on. I'm like, yeah, no, you pick a broker. As long as they're a certified, real estate broker, man, we're totally cool. Or a real estate agent, somebody, who can advise us legally on and do the research and stuff. But yeah, we've made a lot of mistakes in our lives, together and individually. But so let's see, where are we at now? I think we need to come up with one more for you, but we haven't thought of anything. You can't think of anything because we can't remember anything because we're so old. Our brains are cooked.
I had a poem published when I was a senior in high school.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, a little local poetry anthology.
I once sold a video game that I made. I sold it for I think it was $20 or $25. Back on the,
Was it Pong?
No, no, but it was damn near was. It was a game. It was kind of like Snake. We made it. Me and my friends made it on I think it was like a 486 or a 386. One of the very first, computers. Our school, we didn't have Apple computers like the very first, Steve Wozniak, like the Apple computers. My school found a way around that so they could buy a whole bunch of them. So they bought what was called cloned computers. These were computers that was the same exact thing, but they did not have the Apple name on them. They were like Franklin, and Benjamins and stuff like that. But it was the same exact computer, the very first Apple computers. But I made a game. It was kind of like Snake. But I think we ended up, like, the three of us got like, I think it was like $5 or $10 or something like that, each. It wasn't much, but geez, I was in middle school. I can't remember now what year that was.
Then?
What?
Was I even born then?
No, you weren't. But we used to have a license. You had to take a test, and you had to score 90% or better on it. And the license allowed you to go into the library to actually use the computer. If you didn't pass that test and you didn't score high enough, you couldn't use the computer. Because that's how valuable those things were back then. I mean, they were still in the thousands of dollars for a computer.
I mean, a good computer nowadays is thousands.
Yeah, but these weren't worth anything.
You got like a top of the line graphics
They weren't even
card.
real Apples. And of course, this is before Windows because you still had your DOS and everything else that they
I
ran on.
remember DOS.
Yeah, DOS. Does anybody else remember DOS? Yeah, you had your DOS prompt. You had typing catalog on everything. I still have a whole box of 3 1/4 over there in floppy disk. I don't know why I have them. But
I don't either.
I don't know what I do, but they're on the shelf over there. But Yeah, you had to take a test to get a computer license so you could actually use the computer. You had to prove that you were proficient enough in knowing what the actual, they had a whole book that you had to go through and you had to study the whole thing. You need to score 90% of it on the test to get a license. And all it was a piece of construction paper, and it had like another separate piece of paper on top of that, but it had like the school colors, and then they laminated it, and you had to go to the library. The librarian, the head librarian, had to actually like swear you in, like take the oath that you would not destroy school property. And then after that, you signed up, and every time you wanted to use a computer, you came in, you signed in on a log when you were going to use the computer, which computer you were using, and then you could go back and you signed out on, so they knew exactly who it was that was on the computer in case of a virus or something, or you broke it.
Shit.
Yeah. It was a whole big old thing. But me and my friends made a game, and we sold it to a local computer store company, that place that fixed computers and built computers, I guess. I'm not sure really what they did, but they had this competition where you entered, the event. You showed them what you made. We went there with, I think we saved it on a floppy disk. We went there, put it in, turn a little locky thing on close the door on the floppy thing. They showed it to them, showed them what the game could do, and they said, yeah, you can enter. We entered, and we were better than anybody else. All the people made clones of video games that were already in existence. And we're like, that wasn't in the rules. You can't make, a new version of Pitfall, where you just changed a couple things in the background, but it's somebody else's game, somebody else's intellectual property. But we made a game from scratch because we were smart.
That's awesome.
Oh, the good old days. Oh, I remember when they invented radio and electricity. Oh, those were the days.
Yeah. Do you remember when they invented electricity?
Well, I rode to school on a dinosaur,
Yeah.
and then I always had those Tyrannosaurus
My
Rexes, man. I'm telling you, you can't take them anywhere. I'm not that old. I feel that old sometimes though, especially in the morning, getting up out of bed.
Oh my gosh, waking a little guy up for school. Can I see your good morning face? No good morning face.
Did you cry when you went to school?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, it's part of life.
And I didn't know what to do.
And I told
6
you.
whole hours to get my work done without having a tiny chaos elemental demanding to play Minecraft.
Okay. Well, since we can't think of anything else that anybody else would like to know about you, I mean, I got a whole bunch of questions, but we're trying to keep this, family, friendly.
Yeah.
So.
And we may already be capped out for time.
No, I have time, but we're gonna say goodbye. See y'all next week. Unless there's anything else you can think of that interesting about you that people may not know, because
I don't know what's interesting about me.
everything about you is interesting. It interests me.
Aw, thanks, babe.
But you like to start the garden, but you never finish gardening.
That's what you're for.
I know. I'm the laborer. You're the idea person. I'm the laborer. You like bees, but you don't want to take care of them. So I'm the laborer. You're the idea person. You want to do home remodeling. You have the ideas. I'm the idea person. You have a fixation on buying chairs, and we don't need any more chairs, but yet I see you on your phone scrolling through the marketplace for more deals on chairs.
Hey, that last chair was an amazing deal. $15.
Yes, $15. Would you pay for the purple one?
This one? 25. I think.
And this one?
Maybe I paid 50 for this one. I don't remember exactly.
Oh, yeah, and I'm pretty sure you didn't tell me it was 50.
I think it might be.
I think you told me a lot less.
I haven't paid.
But anyways, you keep on buying chairs.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Crystal has a fixation with buying chairs, and we have hundreds of them. It
We
seems
don't
like.
have hundreds.
Well,
We
we have a
don't
lot.
have hundreds of chairs.
Downstairs in the basement in the spare bedroom. Have you been down there lately?
No.
Well, you ought to go down there and look at all the chairs.
Those don't count.
Those don't count because they're in a different room.
Because I didn't buy those ones.
How many chairs do we have outside in our patio deck? Better guess more than 8.
9.
It is 9. We have 9 chairs. There are 3 people who live here.
What if we have guests?
Well, that's a good thing. We have all those folding chairs.
Bye!
Bye. Thank you for joining us today. You stay safe out there.